So picture this. Your car gets stolen in the middle of the day. You report it to the police, and then you wait and wait. What do you do? Well, if you're the man in this story, you skip the waiting part, become a detective, and you solve the case yourself. Today we're breaking down a pretty wild car theft, where the real story isn't the crime, but the citizen who just refused to sit back and wait for justice to happen. 1 hour and 51 minutes. Just let that sink in for a second. That's almost 2 hours. These thieves didn't just smash a window and peel out. No, they scouted the place, they planned their moves, they waited, and then they executed this whole operation in broad daylight. This wasn't just a grab-and-go, it was a calculated heist.
All right, so let's set the scene. It all starts on a totally normal Saturday, January 3rd. We're outside a church, and there's a car parked, registration KBR15E. It was actually a gift from a son to his mother, which just adds a whole other layer to this. Everything seems completely normal, but that's all about to change.
Now, thanks to CCTV, we can see exactly how this whole thing went down, step by step. At 10:29 a.m., the getaway car, this silver Fielder, does a slow drive-by. A minute later, it passes again. They're casing the joint. Then at 11:08, they park close by to lay low. Half an hour after that, the thief makes his first move. He gets inside the victim's car and stays for 7 whole minutes, probably messing with the alarm or immobilizer. Then at 12:20 p.m., he's back. He gets in, starts it up, and just drives away. A minute later, the Fielder follows right behind. It was a perfectly timed 2-car operation.
And here's where they got really clever. Remember when they were parked and waiting? Well, they weren't just killing time. They were swapping their license plate. The car's real plate was KCV561B, but the one used for the crime was KCA425, a total fake. It's such a simple but smart move, designed to send any police investigation on a wild goose chase right from the get-go.
So the car's gone. The owner does exactly what you're supposed to do. He goes straight to the police. But this is where the story takes a really frustrating turn.
He gives them everything he has. A formal report, the super clear CCTV footage, the whole package. But the response he gets from the Directorate of Criminal Investigations, the DCI, is basically, okay, we have to document this, and it's going to take some time. For someone whose car just got stolen, every single second feels like an hour. But for the official investigation, it seemed like the clock wasn't even ticking.
After a few weeks go by with 0 updates, nothing, the car's owner decides he's done waiting. He's going to take this investigation into his own hands. And this is the moment where our victim becomes the hero of his own crime story.
And his strategy was brilliant in its simplicity. He remembered the getaway car's real license plate from the very beginning of that CCTV footage. So he just plugged that number into the NTSA's public database, a tool, by the way, that anyone can use, and boom, he got a name. Armed with a name and an address, he actually drives over the Kenyatta Road, and there it is, the exact same silver Fielder from the video, just sitting there, parked on the street. Unbelievable. And this was the huge breakthrough. George Kimani Wanjohi. That's the name that popped up in the database, the registered owner of the getaway car. This crucial piece of the puzzle wasn't found by law enforcement, but by the very citizen they were supposed to be helping.
Now, finding the car was a massive win, but what the owner uncovered next was honestly way more disturbing. This wasn't just about one stolen car or one thief. It was about a much bigger problem, repeat offenders, and a justice system that seems to be struggling to keep up.
So it turns out, this George Wanjohi character wasn't exactly a stranger to the police. He was already out on bail for a completely different car theft case. And get this, even after the DCI arrested him for this crime, thanks to all the legwork the victim did, he and his buddy were, you guessed it, released on bail again. A repeat offender caught red-handed on camera is right back out on the streets. And believe me, this is not an isolated incident. Just to give you a sense of how big this problem is, in January alone, the very same month this car was stolen, a staggering 39 other vehicles were reported stolen. And here is the really grim reality behind that number. Of those 39 cars that were stolen, take a look at how many were actually found. Just 4. That's a recovery rate of around 10%. It just goes to show you the massive challenge the authorities are up against. And frankly, it explains why for victims like the man in our story, taking matters into their own hands feels like the only real option. And that really brings us to the big question here, doesn't it?
This whole case was solved because a regular guy used public tools and pure determination to do the job himself. And while that's an incredible story of initiative, it also makes you wonder, when the system designed to protect us is slow or overwhelmed, is this the new reality? Is citizen-led justice the answer?